live.
You're
Yay!
finally here. It's
Hello!
so
Welcome
sunny.
back!
Oh my god.
Welcome back!
It's so sunny in my in my room. I'm gonna adjust the lights.
I'm glad it's sunny for you because I got nothing but clouds here. But I gotta say, what temperature is it there for you? Oh, he can't hear me. Well, I will say here, guys, it's a cool 60, 70 degrees, 75. I am loving it. We're gonna hear what temperature it is from Jake, and he's not gonna be loving it, unfortunately, once he gets back over here.
There
All
we
right, so
go.
Jake, I got a question for you. What's the temperature like there?
Right now we're like 50 degrees. No, there's no.
Oh, that's actually not
there's no
bad.
way. Yeah, 54. Not bad.
Woo!
Not
I was
bad.
gonna say it's a
I
cool
mean,
like
we're
65,
going
70 here.
You know, we're going into March, spring, and all that. So.
That's cool. Yeah, we're getting into spring. Did you see that the groundhog actually did not go back in?
So wait, does that mean there's no earlier spring?
That means that it's spring technically, I think.
Yeah, earlier spring. Okay, so yeah, that's good. That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
Right. So today we have
Mad
some
hype.
pretty interesting topics to talk about, right?
One of them I have no idea about, and Jake is just gonna tell me
I
about.
surprised Will with this one. I surprised him this time. I told him, hey, I read this really, really cool article. So I'm gonna, and I thought it was really cool. Definitely worth talking about. I'm not sure how it's not being talked about more. So yeah, and then Will, wants to talk about some other stuff that's going on in this world. Currently.
Well, and my favorite thing to do in the world, like I love doing this so much, is just giving my raw, like first experience opinion on things. And so I'm really excited for Jake to like tell me about this so I can give my like raw opinion on it.
Yeah. All right. So, do you want? I guess I will start with the prison thing.
Take it away. I'm on the edge of my seat here, Jake.
Yeah. Let me pull up the article.
We're gonna check it out. So I know a little bit. I know it's about prison burials. I don't know what all that is about. Sounds a little bit up my alley though. When I went to Paris, I got to check out the catacombs. I like that.
Here we go. All right. At a local prison in Jackson, Mississippi, according to PBS, as news reports continue to surface and make regional and national headlines, not one, not two, but over 215 buried bodies in unmarked graves were found behind the prison.
Damn.
Yeah, 215 bodies in unmarked graves behind this prison in Jackson, Mississippi. Family members of the deceased have not been notified of their loved ones' deaths.
Were they prisoners?
Yes, these are prisoners.
Oh my gosh! And what do they know so far? What do we know?
Yeah, here's how they found out about this. Yep.
That's wild.
This is insane. Okay, here we go. Approximately, as of now, 330 people have been buried at that cemetery, based on reports by the WLBT. God, that's fucking crazy.
So they were putting them in a cemetery?
So this is what happened. All right. The beginning of this discovery came about due to Miss Betterson Wade, a determined mother who wanted to find her son Dexter, who had been killed by a Jackson police officer with a car. Her son is also one of the bodies in that prison. Oh my god.
So that's like they were doing that on the inside. Like they were doing like that's facilitated. That's not prisoners.
I was gonna say that's definitely something's off here. This definitely seems premeditated.
Well, if a police officer like hid someone there, then that would mean that they had to. I mean, in theory, they could have been allowed to by a prisoner, but I would believe that probably they were allowed to by a guard.
Let's see. Another mother who came forward to find justice for her son was Gretchen Hankins, who was only notified about the death of her son David a year and 7 months after she filed a missing persons report for him.
Oh my god.
Among the many families that were impacted, 6 relatives of the deceased inmates have come forward to seek justice for their departed loved ones. Yo, that's
So,
crazy.
have they talked to any of the prisoners inside?
Doesn't look, I mean, it either doesn't look like it or it doesn't say it here.
That sounds so shady.
And they won't let them get the bodies back for a proper burial unless they buy them back. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, bro, like,
What do
this
you
is
mean?
crooked. Do y'all
What
see
do you
this shit,
mean?
chat? Hear this shit, chat? Like, bro,
Oh my god.
this is the
What do you
most
mean they're not
crooked-
allowed to have the bodies back?
Yeah, this is
Where does it say that?
it was a report by the, what is this, the WLBT3, whatever that.
So they're not allowed, the family members can't have the body unless they pay who for it?
That's a good question. The inmates? No, not the inmate. The prisoners, the warden, whoever runs the prison.
So they have to pay the prison for their loved one's dead body? Oh, got a cameo in the back.
Wait, can you hear me?
Oh, not for a second, no.
Shoot, hold on. How about now?
Yeah, I
Sorry,
can hear you
chat,
great.
Technical difficulties. Can
That
you hear
is
me? Yes?
absurd. I would be interested to learn more about that.
The body here, I can send you the article. There's multiple. There's plenty here. Or
I
you
don't
can
have any
search up-
device to pull it up
Yeah,
on.
okay, or later you could just search up Jackson, Mississippi prison burial. I told you about this
That's
already.
absurd.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's really cool. So, like, what about this? Like, prison?
Dude,
Like,
I'm
what is
just
the news
concerned
about
on
it?
how no one is talking about this. Like, this is
Yeah.
under the radar. Dude, I didn't even know about this. How long ago is this article posted? Let's see. Like a month and a half ago.
A month and a half
Yeah.
ago? And no one has talked about it.
No one. Nothing. I haven't heard shit until it popped up in my Apple News thing.
That is fucking wild.
That is crazy. It makes you wonder, like, who's been keeping this under wraps, you know, for this whole month and a half?
Well, that kind of shit happens all the time. I hate to break it to you, man, but
Yeah,
I'm
the
just
world is
interested
nuts.
as
That's just
well in
simple.
the locals and everything. I just don't understand about it. Just doesn't add up even normally. Like in a corrupt world, that still doesn't add up. It's like that is so strange. Even the like having to
Feels
pay
like-
for the body.
Like, think about the cops in this state as well. Like, are they're clearly for at least what it looks like is heavily implied that they're in on this, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
like,
I mean, there's
but there's someone.
it's circumstantial
there's something,
evidence.
There's some system at the top, right? There's
Well, and from the article, it's only circumstantial evidence, but that's still like
that's the problem. Yeah, it's all like
the body that he hit is in that yard
in
next to the
it's
prison
in that prison. Yeah,
with a bunch of prisoners. That is just absurd
it's
to me.
it is absurd. It's nuts. Like, it's the most
Yeah.
twisted shit. It's the most twisted shit ever. And like, they're just like, yeah, camera froze. Hold on,
Your camera froze.
my camera froze.
We're having some technical difficulties.
Now we're good. All right. Anyway, but yeah, dude, like, it's crazy. It really is. Like, it's obviously not a coincidence, but still, there's still a ton of questions that I have.
I feel like I just don't know enough about it yet.
I'll send you the article later. This is insane. But anyways,
That's
so yeah, that's what I have to say about that. That's it's
so
wild.
random.
It is so, I know, it's so random too. It is super random.
That is so random.
It's ridiculous.
That makes zero sense whatsoever. That is such a weird thing to think
Yeah,
about.
what do you think?
I mean, I knew stuff like that happened. I just didn't know that like once people got caught for it, that like nothing would continue to happen.
That's what I'm saying. It's like, is there no aftermath or anything like that? Like, what?
Well, I don't understand is like, and it's a different country, but how did the Tate brothers get put in jail for human trafficking over TikTok shit, and then
That's a good
nothing
point.
happens? Nobody's even arrested.
That's a good point. That's a very good point.
Like no one's brought in for question, and I don't know enough about it.
Yeah,
Like maybe
no,
there were
exactly.
people
And
brought in, but like
and here, sorry to cut you off, but like even here, the evidence is as circumstantial as it was against against those brothers, against the Tate brothers. But like, oh, like they're just like, yeah, this is cool, this is normal, this is great. Nothing going on.
it reminds me.
You know what this
It reminds me.
sorry,
Go ahead.
You know what this reminds me of? If you played Five Nights at Freddy's, this is Fazbear Entertainment shit. That company is evil. This
I have no idea about
this
that.
is some evil, corrupt bullshit going on. Anyways.
Well, you know what that reminds me of? The prison thing. It's very different, but also kind of similar, is the Epstein case, in which you can clearly see the relation being that you can clearly see that there is tons of evidence that just has not been open to the public. And that there's stuff that nobody knows that, according to the law, everybody should know. That is just being, like, I think that there are things that are clearly happening that would lead us to be like, why don't we have an interview with the president? Like, why is no one asking Biden in an interview why 200 dead bodies just showed up in a prison?
Exactly.
That, like, that's a very easy question that a real reporter would. Hold on, let me finish. That's a real question that a real reporter would ask, but the fact of the matter is we have very little real reporters. We have people who are reporting on assigned topics. And that is just asking, that's interviewing. Like, you're an interviewer, you're not a reporter. A reporter goes out and finds stories. It's like this, you're asking them about the same damn war questions every friggin' time about the economy. Let's talk about real questions that are going to show us what kind of, because we know the economy is going to work itself out, all that stuff. But what we need to know is, like, what kind of a president do we have? What kind of government officials do we have? And the fact that a prison like that can do that. And I understand prisons are privately owned. It's a private thing. But when you have a privately owned company that is responsible for the lives of thousands of people, you have to have so much government intervention. And the fact of the matter is that that doesn't exist. And so it's like, that is absurd to me. I don't think that we should have private prisons if that's happening. And nobody's asking officials anything like this. And if they are, the media is not supporting it. And so I think that clearly shows that, and I think everybody knows this, but that we're bought and paid for. Like, our information is bought and paid for. That what's his name, John Mayer, the guy who sang that song, like, literally that quote hits.
Exactly.
That shit, say it again so that newcomers hear it. Say that shit again.
Oh yeah, when you trust your television, what you get is what you got, because when they own the information, they can bend it all they want.
And it's so true. That's
just the cold, because, like, what are you gonna do? Are you gonna, like, say, no, you're wrong? Like, what are they're not gonna listen to you. No one's gonna listen to you because you look like a crazy person, even though you're not. You look like one.
No, totally.
So,
well, and you know what the biggest devil in the world is? And I learn more about it every single day, and it's healthcare and finance. Even though we're not allowed to talk about that, it's like so bad. But it's banking and pharmaceuticals.
Yeah, it really is insane. It's yeah.
That's so bad that the, like, two biggest conspiratory, like, points we're not really able to. Yeah, it's stuff we can't talk about. Because that's where the root of
gets so backwards. You ever wonder that?
I don't know.
It's like something.
I can actually answer that.
Oh, yeah?
Because I am a realist. I'm a realist, and so I understand the reality of that answer. It has never gone whack. It's always been like this. We're just sorting it out, like always. Name a time in history where it wasn't whack. Name a single time. 1 second in history.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, there you go, guys. Like, there you go.
I think that is called the human. I think that people freak the fuck out and they're like, what's wrong with the world? We have to fix it. And it's like, nope, that's the human experience. And you just need to learn how to exist in it. You can't change reality. You know what is very similar to attempting to change reality
What?
is lying.
Lying, delusion,
Lying.
deception.
If you're trying to change reality, that means you're literally opposing the thing that controls everything that you do.
Well, okay, yeah. Well, yeah.
You are a product of reality.
Yeah,
You wouldn't be here without the semen that is reality.
Therefore,
and without the egg that is reality.
Therefore, by denying it, you are denying yourself.
Correct. And so when you oppose reality, whether it's through lies verbally or action, lie to yourself through actions, you are literally opposing reality. You're going against the strongest force ever to exist, and you are saying, no, I'm going to do it differently. And I hate to break it to you, but that's just reality slapping you in the face. That's literally just reality going, okay, do it your way, but that's still my way. And I want to let you know I don't like that, so it's going to end wrong for you.
There you go.
And that's how life goes. It's like, all right, I hope you like this chain of events that you're going to take yourself down. Not me, because I say do this, and that's right. You're going to lead to happiness. But what you say, fine, put my hands up. That's what reality does. Reality puts its hands up and it says, hey, walk away. Walk away from what I've given you and
like
see how that takes you.
Yeah, and this is like, I don't know, this may be a strong opinion or not, but I view running away as avoiding accountability.
It depends. Just like everything, it depends on the perspective.
But
would you say that about me running away from Ridgefield and coming here?
No.
Yeah.
No, that's growth. You didn't run away.
Yeah, 100%.
But no, actually, wait, but that's the thing. You didn't run away. You made the decision.
But I did. I made the decision to leave. And that's why it depends on perspective. Is that by any person could be considered running away? It would have been a hell of a lot harder to complete all my goals in Ridge.
Yes, it could be perceived as running away, but it's also let's say you left and then became a junkie hobo. Yes, that's running away, but you didn't, so that's not.
I think that the key factor you're speaking on is if there is an issue you're running from. And I think that I would
running from anything.
I would maybe narrow down your statement to I view, and I am not saying this, maybe I'm saying for you, like maybe this is what you think. Do you view leaving a task incomplete as what you're saying as like a sign of weakness or whatever?
Unfinished avoiding accountability.
Yeah, like burning a bridge or something like that. You know what I mean? And then running.
Not finishing something unfinished.
Because I feel like it's a very healthy skill to be able to walk away or run away.
For the positive, no. That's what makes the difference. To me, that's what makes the difference. Whether it's for the negative or for the positive.
Yeah, but you can fucking say that about anything in life. Like if you're fucking picking up that leaf for a good reason, great. If you're picking it up for a bad reason, oh God, that's really bad. Like that has nothing to do with running away. I think that it's all down to perspective. Like literally, if you switch running with walking, then you're walking away and you're mature and you're the bigger person. And so it's like literally the same fucking thing. You can walk away from a problem in your life and it's literally called walking away because you're just doing it in a good manner. Yeah, if you're calling it running away,
it sounds frantic and chaotic.
Under that definition, if running away is in a negative context and walking away is in a positive context, yes, running away is looked down upon.
Yep.
But no, I think that if you realize like it's just like taking space and going away from something is oftentimes very helpful. It's the problem is if you're running away from something that's good for you. And that's usually something.
That's a good way to put it. I like that. Okay.
Or if you're running away from a problem that you have created, that is like if you create an issue and you run away and let other people deal with it, like that's gonna come back to you in some way, shape, or form. Because this is my thing about karma, is that if you are creating something, just listen. This is how I'm gonna convince you possibly that karma is real. Karma isn't some magical force flying around the universe that makes people get what comes to them. It's when you make a choice that you believe you. So if you're an asshole, you maybe don't have the worst karma in the world because you're just an idiot. You're actually just an asshole, like a dumbass idiot. And so if you, Jake, so you're really smart, if you do something that you're like, damn, that's probably going to come back to me, then what's going to happen is then you are going to go through your life thinking, damn, I have something coming for me for that action. And then something you're going to put yourself in a position of maybe a micro failure. Maybe it's the tiniest little failure in the world, but you're going to be like, damn, that happened because of this. And literally it's like, that is karma. And it's the same thing with how I perceive heaven and hell. When you die, you don't fly away to you don't sprout wings and fly away to some place. All you are is left with what you have done, who you are. And so whether or not there's a floating space in the sky and a burning fiery pit in the bottom of something down below, there is a hell, there is a heaven, and you are already creating it in the life that you are living. The question is there just a place where that manifests? But to say heaven and hell don't exist is not to acknowledge the life and world that you're creating in your own mind.
That's fair. One could also say the feeling of it could be like, because it's described as torture, like endless quote unquote torture or a nightmare, right? What if that is the feeling or the knowledge that you can no longer improve?
Well, totally, yeah.
That
well, people give up on themselves.
That would be
totally
torture.
People. Well, and think about this, specifically speaking about Christianity. You know how I believe that we're all one person, one soul, and that Jesus just realized that, and that's what made him so prominent, and that's what made him realize he's the Son of God, is that we're all the Son of God.
Mm-hmm.
I think that if that is the case, Jesus says, all you need to do is ask me for forgiveness. And when he says me, I am the way, I am the Son, he means me, that thing inside of you that is me. You, Jake, need to ask me, not me, Will. You, Jake, need to ask me, Jake, your me, for forgiveness. And once your me has forgiven you, then you can move out of hell and move on to heaven. You'll only exist in heaven if you're able to create that world in your mind. You only, like, you know, the photon thing, that's the perception thing, like photons in movement that aren't being perceived will move differently than photons being perceived. You know, that study?
Yeah.
It's exactly that. It's whatever you're putting energy towards is the world that you're creating in your head. And so you live your life, you are literally sewing strings of your heaven or your hell. And for my beliefs, that when you die, a part of you, that piece of you, that me, the thing you ask for forgiveness, goes on to the next life, whether it's in the future, the past, your brother, your sister, whatever life that is. And then all you, Jake, are left with, the piece that stays, that doesn't go to the next life, is your choices, is your experience, is the sweater that you knitted together your whole life, and you have to wear it forever. And so if you can't forgive yourself by death, then you go to hell. But then the question is, what happens after death? And can you then be still forgiven?
Yeah.
Because you are sent to eternal damnation if you do not ask for forgiveness. But that doesn't mean that people who get sent to hell can't still ask for forgiveness. In theory, because it's interpretable. It never distinctly says that when you go, it says, when you do this, you go to hell forever. But what if you stop doing that? What if you change? And there's no, like, I could be wrong, but there's nothing about that in the Bible. And so in theory is you're only there forever if you are that way forever. If you change and ask for forgiveness, you may go. And so that would be dependent on if there is like consciousness beyond death. But if there isn't, then you're gambling the fact that you might be stuck with the choices you made in this life forever. But I do think that there is a tiny, minute little chance that you might be able to right your wrongs beyond the golden gates. You know what I mean? Or the hellish doors.
Yeah, everyone deserves a shot of redemption, right? Do you? Okay.
Yeah.
That's actually a very.
But then.
See,
Hold
on. I've asked people that question a lot. Not everyone can even answer the question, because it's like it's one of the most subjective questions like I can think of. So like, well,
this is a very potent statement. Well, I don't think anyone deserves anything, but I think that we as humans are responsible in knowledge that nobody deserves anything. and that they're not going to receive nobody in life is just going to receive what they want. I think that's a very given.
Well, yeah,
you may get a bunch of cars, money, you may be born rich, but you're not going to receive what you want in life.
Yeah, exactly.
Just by existing. And with that, where was I going with? What was the question you asked me?
Do you think everyone deserves?
Oh, yes.
Keyword deserves a second chance.
And so with that, knowing we don't deserve anything and we're not going to get what we want, it's on us to help other people. We're responsible to help other people get what they want, because we know we want what we want, and we would love for other people to help us get what we want. And so it's on us to then help other people get what they want. And so yeah. I would say this is such a potent opinion of mine, but I think that everybody deserves to be shown kindness and care and love. Doesn't mean you have to be friends with them, doesn't mean you have to hang out with them, doesn't mean you have to listen to them, doesn't mean you have to follow their choices, but I think everybody, and I struggle with this, I make bad choices, I make fun of people all the time, I do it literally all the time, but I think everybody does not deserve, but should be treated with kindness. And so I think that, like, for example, Jesus says, if anyone strikes, and don't quote me on this, I'm kind of paraphrasing, but if anyone is to strike you in the face, offer them the other cheek so that they may strike you again. And it's the saying that if somebody does you wrong, show them nothing but openness and kindness, for if they don't react to it, then it's entirely their issue.
That's a good point. That's a fair point.
The moment you, like I said, put energy towards them, that's the moment you have entered their world. You're putting energy towards them. You're focused on your attention is on their photons, and so they're acting differently. If you put your attention away from their photons, you're going to act the way that they normally act. But then the second you're like, oh, attention, he's going to start acting in a certain way.
So it's kind of like wearing a mask, right? Kind of.
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like wearing being not being someone you're not, but like not being totally genuine, authentic.
But yes, no, I think that's right. Like when this even happens when I'm in the gym and I'm really in my zone, and then I see someone walk by, I see some jack dude walk by, and I'm like a little intimidated, and so like I look up and I'm like out of my world. And so if you notice that someone's paying attention to you, you're out of your world. You're like, oh shit.
He's paying attention to me. I gotta fucking.
That applies apparently to even just items, like non-living items. And so in theory, like if I'm paying attention to you, you're not the you that you are when you know no one else. Yeah. When you know no one's paying attention. And I think that's a given. I think everyone agrees to that. I think everyone would agree to that. I just don't think that everyone realizes
that's the truth. We just can't help it. Like I mean, or at least maybe we can. We can't fully control it. You know, that's just. I don't think
that people realize that science supports that physical things in the universe do that as well. Science says, this is a scientific study. That photon study project, those are real scientific, where it goes through two lines, and normally it shows up as three, and then sometimes it shows up as a bunch when it's being observed. And that is literally science. Those aren't living things. Those are literal like photons or whatever the fuck they're called. But with that, that's a scientific study. And knowing the science isn't 100%, I can say with confidence that science says that physical items, when not being observed, behave differently than physical items when being observed. And the same applies to humans, which means that that's one key character trait that we share with this entire universe. That's one trait that makes us all one. And that, in that one sense, could be even the equation that people look for that is the answer of the universe. And I don't know that to be true, but in the sense that, like, you can fucking look deeper into little details and find other truths in them and then go make other discoveries. So if we look at that truth and then we go, okay, so that means that there's a fundamental identicality, I hope that's a word, between the universe and human beings. Yeah, similarities. That's a identical similarity between humans and the universe, which means that we are one. Yes, exactly. And so that means that because we know we came from supposedly nothingness, but we also know that we're one with the universe. So that would mean logically that we came from the universe, and that when we die, we just go back to the universe. And I think every scientist would say that's true. I would just argue that when we go back into the universe, it's being another human. If you think long and hard, I saw this video. It's if you think long and hard enough about what it's like to die, eventually, what it's like to fall asleep forever, having never done it before. Eventually, you will think long and hard enough about it to where you'll wonder, what is it like to wake up having never woken up before? And then you realize that much like everything else in this universe, whatever was happening will continue to happen. And so then you think, okay, if we're waking up from nothingness and going into nothingness, then if we enter the nothingness, we're probably just going to go back to waking up. Same thing's probably just going to happen. You go from one life and then you live, you die, and then you start again. No difference. What's changing? Nothing's changing. So why wouldn't it just happen again? You come from nothingness, you enter the nothingness to come from it again. Why would you come out of it if you're not going to come out of it again after? And so it's one thing after the other. It's like an object in motion is going to stay in motion until acted upon by another force. Why wouldn't that happen?
That is true. That is true.
And so why wouldn't that happen for life and death? It's not technically motion, but if you're considering time as motion, then yes, it would be a form of motion.
Speaking of
and
time, yeah, time.
You understand what I'm saying, though?
I do. That's why I like that. I'm gonna build off of it a little bit. So, speaking of time, so you know how, what was this, like, either episode 3 or 4, we talked about space and time, right?
I think it was episode 3.
Yeah, episode 3, we talked about space and time. And I said that space-time is one thing. What I meant, and I guess that phrasing is a little bit weird, so let me explain what I mean. Space and time are two different things, but they are fundamentally interconnected to the point where they cannot exist without each other.
Well, you're missing a key factor, which is matter. Space, time, and matter can all not exist without the other. No, not true, because you can have space that does not have matter in it. That's called nothingness. We have a label for it. Now, in theory, it doesn't exist.
That's my point.
But listen, with something, but no space to have that something, there is not the something. And then the second that something has space to exist in, then it is something. And then the second that it continues to do so, then you have time. Okay, those are the 3 levels. So just like you can't have time without space, there is nowhere for that time to take place. You cannot have matter without space. You cannot have matter without time, because what is it doing?
That's my point.
Yeah, so I know, I'm just adding matter into there. Matter is, it's 3 things. Okay, it's not 2, it's not space and time.
Because
it's space, time, and matter. You can have space without matter.
That's theoretical. But that's theoretical. That is theoretical. It's
theoretical that you can have space without matter, but it's not theoretical that you can have matter without space. You cannot have matter without space.
Yeah, exactly.
You can have space without matter, theoretically. You cannot theoretically have matter without space, because matter is dependent on space to be in. If there is no space, there is nowhere for the matter to be, so it is not anywhere.
That's my point.
So fundamentally,
that's my point.
But your point had nothing to do with matter, and so I'm not arguing anything. I'm adding matter. Listen to the words. Listen to the exactly. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. Listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth. All I'm saying is I am adding matter to that. You can continue with what you're saying.
Is my point.
You do need to.
No, because it's an umbrella term.
Need to add it.
Includes that.
No, the 3 fundamentals. That's like saying the fundamental colors are red, and what are the fundamental colors?
The primary color, red, yellow, and blue.
Primary color. Yeah, that's like saying red and blue are the primary colors. No, red, yellow, and blue are the primary colors. The primary colors of this universe are time, space, and matter, not time and space. You need matter to have this universe. It can't exist without matter, because there's nothingness. It's just, you just have a nothingness that is happening for an amount of time, but there is nothing happening in that nothingness. So you need matter for it to be. That's why something matters. There is reason. There is something. You can't have any. It's nothingness. It's fundamentally, logic depends on something. You cannot be logical about nothingness. Nothing doesn't exist. It does in our imagination, but it cannot physically exist because of the word physical. There is stuff.
Hold on.
So our universe is fundamentally dependent on the fact that stuff exists. If stuff didn't exist, we would just have a space full of nothingness for a certain amount of time. It would not be anything. Space, time, and matter are the three primaries of our universe, not just space and time. The umbrella goes out after that, but you need space and time and matter are all on that top echelon. Matter's not down the ladder a little bit. It's right there on the top. You need it.
Give me 1 second.
What the fuck? What the fuck are you doing?
Okay, so
We're in the middle of a fucking episode. You weren't even listening to what I was saying.
Oh no, I was listening. I was just thinking of a rebuttal.
All right, what was I saying?
You saying matter, space, and time, the three primary. I guess I forgot one. My bad. But regardless, they cannot be separated. They are not there. What's the term? Mutual inclusion. They are mutually.
They are codependent.
They have to. That is
Yes.
objectively true.
Yes. And that is essentially where you get into dimensional theory.
Because
those are
because if it weren't, there wouldn't be remember the term ising that we came up with?
ising, yes.
If it weren't, there would be no ising, but there is ising, so it must be.
There is no is without time. There is no is without space.
Yeah.
There is no is without matter.
That easy, yeah.
For us to is, those are the three dependencies.
Yeah.
Everything else is just blurry details.
Wait, I guess if you want to have two, quote unquote, two things, you could say matter and space-time. Because
Matter and space-time.
Space and time are interconnected, so you could say matter and space-time, and then you get, the whole triangle, three.
Well, that's where you leave human comprehension, because now you're talking about the second dimension, and the human brain can't comprehend the second dimension. Isn't that cool? I'm breaking down and understanding dimensions. The second dimension is just space and time with no anything, with no matter.
Yeah, so as three-dimensional beings, we can only perceive. We see in 2D actually, but
yes, technically we do see two-dimensionally.
We see two-dimensionally because you can't see in the dimension you're in, or above, so you can only see either below or. So that makes you wonder: have we seen one-dimensional yet? Ooh, wait. What if there's a limit? What if you can only go to the dimension below you and no further and no lower?
Well, that's like saying we have seen one-dimensionally, kind of. We can comprehend one dimension.
We can understand
in the same,
it, yeah.
Listen. We can comprehend it in the same way that we can comprehend pixels on a computer screen. But that's the only reason. Without pixels, we would not be able to understand the first dimension. Although if you look at a crossboard with crosshairs, the first dimension is literally just each and every single little thing in this universe.
Anything any point, yeah.
Because you have our universe, which is a layer of things.
Yeah.
That's time. And then you have the universe, which is just one of those layers. And then you have the universe, which is just a single point on one of those layers.
Yeah, exactly.
A single existence.
You know what?
And that's what the number one is. Number one is the single
point.
Experience, the foundation, the point. And that's why I'm super interested in researching numbers. Numbers have specific characteristics. And Jordan Peterson and Carl Jung, this was Carl Jung's life's work.
I think only 1 and 0.
No, you're wrong.
Because anything else is just multiple ones.
No. Yes, but those are characteristics in itself. 2 represents. Think about this.
Two instances of 1. Oh, I see what you're. Okay, yeah,
Exactly,
yeah,
and it has specific representations. Without the number two, teamwork wouldn't exist because then
yeah,
you couldn't have four because four is just two twos. And
yeah.
so the number two represents combination, intertwinedness, and then the number three would represent balance, as in you have a triangle. If you stand a triangle upside down, it has balance. One moment, I'm
Wait.
gonna mute myself really quickly.
Okay. While you're doing that, so chat, what I find interesting is the fact that from what we've seen,
Uh-huh.
or at least from what it doesn't seem that we can move backwards in time, but only rather forwards. Have you noticed that?
I hate to leave you guys on a cliffhanger, but I actually have to leave.
Wait, what are we at? 40 minutes? Okay. That's
40
good.
minutes. We didn't even get time to talk about the election. We'll save
Yeah,
that for the
dude.
next episode.
Yeah, dude. 'cause
No,
I
but
was
that's
really
great.
looking
That's
forward-
just more stuff to talk about. All right. This was such a great discussion. I'm
Absolutely.
super happy we did it.
All right.
Making new discoveries every single day.
Yeah,
It was great,
absolutely,
guys. I really gotta
Sky's the
get
limit.
out of here though.
All right. We'll see you guys.
You
in the next
guys have a
episode, okay?
wonderful day. I'll catch you later.